We have seen a massive change to FIFA 23 with the latest patch. Trivelas got nerfed, through balls got buffed, but also explosive, controlled, and lengthy. That whole meta looks a little bit different. Let's jump into it and tell you how to attack post-patch on FIFA 23. So to start things off, we have to talk to you about the Trivela nerf. Essentially, players aren't going to be as good using the outside of the boot as a shot, using that Trivela shot that we saw so much pre-patch. What I want to absolutely stress to you is that they are still viable post-patch. They're not as good, but they're still viable. How are they viable? You will need to try and ensure that the player that you're going for the Trivela has the outside of the boot trait, and also if you can green time them. I have found an immense success rate with still going for these very, very strong shots by going with someone that has that trait and green timing them. You can do them with someone that doesn't have the trait, but it does make things a little bit more difficult. What I would invite you to do though, as a big tip, is just switch things over. Instead of always looking for the Trivela now, look for the outside of the box finesse shot, because they can work. Think about Messi cutting in on that left foot. Just keep that variety, go for the Trivela, go for a normal finesse, and you will find that works so well on post-patch. Through balls got a massive buff on FIFA 23, and this is specifically only talking about ground through balls. A lot of pros were frustrated with this, and I think the general community were happy though. Through balls this year were a little bit more difficult for the average user along the ground. Over the top is a different story. They're pretty strong still, but through balls and on the ground have been given that buff. So now you can find the lanes a little bit more and a little bit easier, and you've got that little bit more assistance. However, my advice always at the minute is play the ball over the top. L1, R1 triangle on PlayStation, LB, RB, and Y on Xbox. That is one of the easiest ways to find those balls over the top, and it just gets you in behind so much easier. But talking about getting in behind and having runners, there has been a bit of a change, and the community was caught off guard by this a little bit. The lengthy debate and explosive and controlled has changed slightly. This wasn't done in the pitch notes correctly. If you want to elevate your FIFA game and take it to that next level, you can get one-to-one coaching, squad reviews, and access to multiple videos to help you get better at FIFA. You can join our Patreon page starting from £4 per month. A link is in the description. The way that they worded it in the pitch notes, EA this is, they said that basically players sometimes missed animations when dribbling. They were skipping them, but they didn't specify who, why, what, when, where. It just said that sometimes, on occasions, players would skip animations when dribbling, which would basically force them to slow down. Then we saw Joel, Dunans and Dragons from EA tweet a little bit further to kind of say, look, I didn't go into enough detail in those pitch notes. Essentially, this was affecting players with high dribbling stats. And obviously, your players with high dribbling stats tend to be your explosive players. And this was one of the key factors on why explosive players felt so bad on FIFA 23, and why you at home were running Morientes, Benzema, Haaland over players like Neymar, Muriel, and so on. Anyone that's small and nimble, they just couldn't break away. So what has actually happened? Well, they've fixed this bug, and it hasn't nerfed lengthy. Lengthy is still there and is still an option to use, but explosive players now actually break away. We are seeing explosive and control players break away as they should do. Son out on the wing can beat Kyle Walker in certain occasions if you get the angles right, and it's made the game just a little bit more open with those through balls and runners in behind. So for you on post-patch, when it comes to attacking and scoring more goals, you need to try and utilize pace, wings, and balls in behind to see yourself get in on goal and have more opportunities. Now, some people have been happy with this change and are thinking, yep, this has made the game feel a little bit more favorable when you can use players like Neymar and so on, and Vinny Jr. And the market has reflected from that. These lengthy players now are coming out of people's team, and the explosive and control players are coming in. My advice to you when it comes to wanting to attack post-patch, try it for yourselves. Have a little go with some explosive players again, bring them back into your team and see how you find them. For me, I'd probably still want a player like, I mean, Mbappe was kind of in his own sort of entity, let's say. But when it comes to that attacking, I'd want to have my explosive players kind of out on the wing, have some control players in the middle of the park, like Valverde. You maybe don't need to try and make him lengthy anymore. And then up front, if you like a big man and you still want to run a lengthy striker, that's not a problem, but then have someone next to them who is nice and nimble. Now, when it comes to defending, you may want to have lengthy centre-backs because they are pretty much as that as default, but running like a controlled Cordoba, for example, or explosive defenders certainly has become a little bit of an option again. Do you need to force lengthy in the attack anymore? Absolutely not. But what I really do invite you to do is to try for yourself. Try and see what suits your playstyle. Now, talking of playstyle, what does this actually do for attacking in post-patch on FIFA 23? How do we attack? Well, when it comes to formations and tactics and what you want to do, utilizing the wing and, as I said, those runners in behind is going to be super effective. So formations, which we recently did, a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, that, for example, can be really strong because you can use your fullbacks in that wing attack and you can look to capitalize and counter in behind. So going back to the Trivelas, as I said, they aren't as effective as they were, but they are still that option. So please do make sure that you don't just take them out your game completely, but just have them in there and mix them up with some finesse shots as well, and you will see super effective success rate from outside that 18-yard box. One thing to take note, although EA have fixed this dribbling issue that players were having, this hasn't made left stick dribbling feel any better. So you still need to use agile dribbling when you're looking to turn in the middle of the park or out on the wing, and skill moves obviously being one of your best ways to break through that defensive line, be it a step over, a reverse elastico, ball roll, scoop turn, you name it. Those sort of things will really help. So yes, left stick dribbling is still bad on post patch, but there is ways to kind of combat it and come round it on FIFA 23. Another way to score more goals post-patch FIFA 23, this hasn't been buffed or anything, but it's something that I feel you at home probably don't do enough of, and that is the power shot. If you get some time and room 25 yards out with Kevin De Bruyne, and you can take that big touch with sprint and then go into the power shot, please make sure you look to use that because it is super effective from range. They did fix the glitch, however, where you could power shot pretty much instantly. That got nerfed, and I knew that would get nerfed pretty much straight away. But the normal power shot, L1, R1, aiming at that goal, super strong and super effective. If you are after some custom tactics for post-patch on FIFA 23, click this video here. It will take you over and give you all the information that you'll need. Bang.